asked a friend, where are the Christian healers? They say Reiki is demonic. But the only person who's trying to help me more directly is a person practicing Reiki and witchcraft. And he says he believes in Jesus. Why do so many Christians who think they know what they're talking about when they're so sure of something is demonic? Don't themselves help. I tried searching for help, maybe I didn't do it the best possible ways, but it's not like I didn't try at all. Why do I have a witch help trying to help me more than Christians? Why is there no better knowledge about this? Why are people so shallow and superficial? Why do they care a bunch of nonsense? I'm saying it's important. One thing I struggled was, you could call it perversion but maybe it's even less than most people. When you mention it, people say it's normal or to keep it private or are disgusted by it. Yet, I have experienced people talk about it in a degrading way, not in a spiritual way, not in a trying to understand way. It's either a degrading joke or never talk about it at all. A lot of the time. And when you can talk about it, it's usually not very deep. People, like, there is a comfortable level or a level that people generally don't go beyond when talking about it, because most people just don't know. But maybe because they're also closed off to trying to learn more and understand more. In general, there is no good community to talk about it, no good environment for it. I believe this is part of the reason maybe there are so many issues regarding it in society. And I'm so sick of people pretending this is normal. And they condemn and abuse people about it, about various ideas about it, all over the place. There is no spiritual guidance that you receive from most people in general. And a lot of them seem to be sure enough that they have figured it out, like a lot of other things. You either have to fight about something and be bitter, or you never talk about it at all. Like, people just cannot talk about things, cannot try to figure out, cannot question. This, along with many other issues, compounds in a damaged mental health. It also damages your physical health because it involves your body, sexuality involves your body, it's your neural wiring, it's your muscles. When you're messed up about it, you start malfunctioning as a whole in all kinds of ways, like other emotional issues. Any emotional issue affects the energy motion in your body. And I'm saying this because that person that I think I lost had persistent genital arousal disorder. It's a much more debilitating issue than most people have issues regarding sexuality. But she can't even talk about it, and you know when you're impaired or disabled or you're different in any way, and people mistreat you about it, then they act like you should tell them because they can't read your mind or they can't make guesses. But when you reveal something about you, you make a target out of yourself for other kinds of mistreatment. So people who act like you should tell them everything and they should never be responsible for anything. This is way too many people at this age. This is not an I'm too little, I'm too dumb, I'm too unknowledgeable, I'm ignorant. I just didn't know. For 20 years you didn't know. It never occurred to you that this is how things work. For 20 years. There are 10-year-olds who know better than you. Or even younger maybe. Maybe it's not the norm. Like even this isn't the norm, I guess. If I said that someone could die or live a terrible life because things like that are repressed, not talked about, and it's a form of abuse and it's very debilitating, I would get laughed at, mocked, told I'm hysterical and extreme. Many things I knew in my mind were true, but people would always want a direct physical confirmation about something. You have a brain because you're also supposed to infer things and understand how the world you live in works. Most people do not seem to attempt to understand how anything works, or only where it is directly their problem. When they can make it someone else's problem, they don't care. I'm tired of being told people are not that bad. That person could only talk to me and her friend. She had us closest. I live in a different country. She knew me for less than a year. I could connect better to her than anyone else in her entire 29 years of life. And I still failed. If someone started talking about their issues, you immediately start getting blamed for attention seeking. In this stupid society, in this stupid age, when people barely know anyone, because there is an epidemic allegedly, and people are still so superficial and judgmental. Especially if you are looked down by the majority of people, you will, of course, want to show as much about yourself as you can. To find someone who actually gets along with you, right? A lot of obvious things that people do, people ascribe a completely different intention and mindset. It's not even intention and mindset, I would say. It's some kind of stupid instinctual bullshit too. You're attention seeking, you're attention seeking. Like you have the brain development of a animal almost. I don't know. I don't even want to go against animals because even they can be smarter than that. Everyone has said bad things to someone or done, or almost everyone. People who haven't are extremely rare. It doesn't mean we should keep doing it. doesn't mean we shouldn't be more thoughtful. I have so many issues. There are people way better off than me, and I'm not saying it to be condescending or to pretend that people don't have all kinds of issues too. But I know for a fact they are not the same, it's not the same level. And it's in part because they are okay with exploiting. And thus they may have issues now because their exploitation doesn't last. But this kinda means that they only care because it's their problem now, because they have issues now, because they thought they could make issues for others and not care. If you only care because it's your problem, do you really care? There are people who say, but what about me? When someone preaches to care for others. You cannot be careless about others and then say, what about me? Because then everyone who cares about others, all the efforts will accumulate in that person who only thinks about themselves. In other words, they're saying, why don't you let me exploit you? I don't even know what kind of mindset people have, because it doesn't make sense. You are gonna die. What do you have except your care for others? Because most of these people aren't getting rich. They aren't even getting rich. They're barely scraping by. They don't know why they are alive. They don't know what they are doing. Simultaneously, they aren't they aren't cutting people up and selling their organs, but they are still abusive and obnoxious and selfish in many ways. I don't know what's the intention. How do they choose who to help and who to leave? Of course, I mean, you can't help everyone all the time simultaneously. But it's not even that, there are obvious consequences on other people from their actions that you're going to reach them eventually at some point. Do they just not think about it? Do they not see that? Why do they start condescending and mocking someone for saying it? It seems like they want to avoid facing the obvious. And also it's an incredibly uncreative, unfulfilling way to live. To be creative is to find solutions and meaning, ideas to involve others. A lot of the issues I feel like in society that are related to people destroying each other can be issues of creativity, figuring out how to make different parts work and fit together to create something new. To creativity is about giving life generativity. Creativity is related to productivity. To produce is to create. No one talks about how to produce is to create. How to have good order, good rules, systems that work for people, not people that work for systems. And systems that can be adjusted, that people can use their creativity or spiritual gifts and insight from God to solve problems, to make it not cost sacrifices and harm, which is a form of death And creativity is generating, it's about life.